Looking for a great amplifier for your system? Well, this beautiful looking budget amp might be it. I'm Barrett and this is Spec Tech. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing the review of the Tonewinner AD5180 5-channel amplifier. And let me tell you, this thing does a lot right. But this isn't the first Tonewinner amplifier I've reviewed. I did review the Tonewinner AD7300 7-channel amplifier in the past, and I'll link that video in the top right hand corner of this video. In this review we're going to talk price, specs, build quality, performance, sound quality, and then I'll give you my final thoughts and who I think should consider this amplifier. But first, I just want to thank you all for the overwhelming support. My channel just hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to this YouTube adventure and where it's going to take me. Also, guys, I just want to point out to make sure to stay tuned. I have another crazy 24-inch subwoofer coming. It is similar to the LFE24 Ultra, but also very much so different. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. I'm also upgrading all of my floor speakers, so all 7 channels of my floor speakers will be different, so stay tuned for that as well. Okay, now let's get into the slick looking and great performing Tonewinner AD5180. Alright guys, so starting with the price, this amplifier is available in both Canada and the US at Summit Hi-Fi, and I have linked both websites for Canada and the US down in the description below. It is priced at only $1,039 US dollars and $1,499 Canadian, which in my opinion is a great price for what you get here. And speaking about what you get, let's talk about specs. But before we talk about the amazing specs you get for this price, I just want to clear one thing up that some seem to be confused about. But first things first, I want to thank Amir at Summit Hi-Fi for hooking me up with this amplifier for review. I would also like to clarify something for those that may be slightly confused between the Hi-Fi Summit and Summit Hi-Fi. There is a Hi-Fi Summit coming up, which is put together by Joe with Joe and Tell, Chana from Technodad, and Mike from Youthman. The Hi-Fi Summit is actually a lot of fun. Now, Summit Hi-Fi is not affiliated with them, but Amir, who owns Summit Hi-Fi, is also an awesome guy. He sells amazing products, and his customer service really stands out. So, Summit Hi-Fi sells great products, has truly amazing customer service. The Hi-Fi Summit is an awesome event put on by some awesome guys. Summit Hi-Fi, you can buy some products. Hi-Fi Summit, you can learn about some awesome products. I will link Summit Hi-Fi's webpage below if you are interested in buying from one of the best audio businesses around. He's the only one in North America selling these amps, by the way. I'm also going to link the Hi-Fi Summit's webpage below if you are interested in getting tickets to that awesome event. Alright guys, so moving on to the specs. You're actually getting quite a bit for the money here. So starting with the dimensions, we have 17 inches wide, 7.75 inches high, and 19 inches deep. These dimensions include the feet and the binding posts. We have a Class AB topology, and wattage-wise, we're looking at 180 watts per channel into 8 ohms, but that translates to about 140 watts per channel, all channels driven. Into 4 ohms, it is rated at 300 watts per channel and 220 watts per channel with all channels driven. These ratings are less than 0.1% total harmonic distortion. This 73-pound beast uses a 1200 watt toroidal transformer linear power supply. Linear power supplies are known to produce less noise and to be more reliable than switching power supplies, but at the expense of efficiency. So the input sensitivity is 1.8 volts for full power into 8 ohms, and the gain on this amplifier is 28 dB. There are 5 unbalanced RCA inputs along with 5 balanced XLR inputs. Each channel has a metal toggle switch to switch between balanced and unbalanced inputs. The speaker connections are 5-way gold-plated binding posts. To complete the back, we have a switch to turn the front LEDs on or off, a 3.5mm link port, and a 3.5mm trigger in and out port. I did cover most of this in the unboxing and overview video as well, and I'll link that video in the top right-hand corner of this one in case you want to check that out. For more detailed specs and information, click the links down in the description for Summit Hi-Fi's websites in Canada and US. Alright guys, so next let's talk about the build quality of this unit. The first thing you will notice when lifting it out of the box is how solid it feels. This amplifier feels like a solid chunk of metal, and it is built extremely well. Front, back, top, bottom, and sides, everything is well built and uses rigid, sturdy materials. Everything was tight and well fitted. There were no loose toggle switches or binding posts, nothing rattled or felt cheap in any way. In my opinion, the side LEDs and the lit VU meter are actually a very nice touch. I feel they are done quite well here. I also find it very satisfying to stare at them while it rushes back and forth while listening to music. Now, for those of you that don't feel the same way as me, there is a toggle switch on the back to turn these off. Let me know down in the comments below if you like the lit VU meter or not. The only suggestion I might have here is a way to dim or brighten the LEDs with separate adjustments for the side strips and the VU meter, but that might be getting a little picky. I would like to point out that the LED lit VU meter on the Tonewinner AD5300 and the AD7300 models are dimmable. You can also turn them on or off. One thing they did add that the 7300 and 5300 are missing is the halo LED around the power button, and I think it is a nice added touch here. One suggestion that I feel would be a great touch here is a way to change the colors of the lighting. I personally like blue, but I'm sure that there are those out there that may prefer a different color. For the price, guys, I cannot fault the build quality. I've paid more for other amplifiers that did not have this level of quality. You get more than what you pay for here. So that sums up the build quality. Let's talk about the performance. I have this amplifier powering the front, left, right, and center speakers, as well as the side surrounds. I've used this amplifier with my efficient Klipsch RP8000F speakers before I sold them. I've also used this amplifier with my new speakers that are less efficient. If you want to know what speakers I've transitioned to, you need to stay tuned on the channel. Now might be a good time for you to consider subscribing, ticking the bell icon, and also maybe a good time for you to hit that like button. If you've stuck around this long already, you might as well. Alright, so back to the amplifier. So this amplifier, even when pushed to reference levels, performed very well. It was able to keep up with the demanding dynamics of electronic music, the bass of hip-hop, the hard strums of acoustic guitar, and the soft strokes of piano keys. It didn't struggle at all during loud movies or game sequences. Keep in mind that all my speakers are rated at 8 ohms, so I cannot speak to a 4 ohm load, but I imagine it would have no issues here either. I do want to point out that at loud volumes or running the amp for any length of time, it does get warm. This could be because of the design of my audio racks and there being little room above the amp. Either way, I've adopted the practice of cooling my equipment years ago. I never run an AVR or an amplifier without fans. If you are interested in the fans and USB controller that I do use, I've linked them down below in the description. So I do recommend using cooling with this amp along with most other amps and AVRs, to be honest. Again, I can't really fault the performance given the price range, but also keep in mind that I did not conduct any measurements to verify performance. This is based on listening tests and my ears only. And speaking of my ears, what did mine think of the sound quality of this amp? But before we get into the sound quality, I just want to discuss one disclaimer quickly, and that is that speakers have more of an effect on sound quality than an amplifier does. An amplifier is simply there to amplify the signal, but at the same time, there are slight differences between amplifiers, so that's what we're going to discuss here. So when judging the sound quality, I listened to just the front, left, and right speakers. This just made it a little bit easier to hear those subtle differences between the amplifiers. So I switched my speakers back and forth between the Tonewinner AD7300 300 watt per channel amplifier and this AD5180 amplifier. I listen to a variety of music using a variety of sources, so I use my Panasonic UB820 to listen to some CDs. I use Spotify through Bluetooth connection from my phone to the Denon AVRX 4400, and I use my Xbox One to play some music from YouTube. The one negative I would like to point out here is there is a little noise coming from the speakers with this amplifier. You do get a little bit of hiss. But most importantly, it is quiet enough to where your ear needs to be quite close to the tweeter to hear it. It is not at all audible from the main listening position, but to be honest, given the cost of this well-built amplifier, I'm not surprised. Amplifiers that cost much more suffer from this as well. Now on the positive, both amplifiers provided a great listening experience and handled the highs and lows very well. To be clear, there is very little in terms of differences between these two amplifiers when it comes to their sound and sound quality, but there are some slight differences. I'll come back to this comparison in a second, but right now let's talk about the AD5180. Highs were very clear and articulate, mids were warm and detailed, and the lows were punchy and defined. Admittedly, I'm not an overly critical listener. I'm more on the average user side of things. That being said, I did notice one main difference between the Tonewinner AD7300 and the Tonewinner AD5180, and that was in the highs. I felt the highs in the 5180 were just a little smoother and a little less fatiguing than when listening to the AD7300. I had my wife come down and I did the same comparison with her, and she said that she could hear the slight difference as well. So she and I both preferred the sound of the 5180. The difference is only noticeable when you're able to do what I did, which is switch back and forth with them side by side. It's definitely not to say that the highs with the 7300 are bad. In fact, I had nothing but admiration for the 7300 sound quality before I was able to compare. And even still, I have nothing but admiration for the 7300 sound quality. The price of that 7-channel for its performance is very much so worth it. But if you like an ever so slightly smoother top end, the 5180 will provide that. Alright, I know there's those guys out there that want demos, so I am going to do a short demo of some music here, but also a disclaimer. Of course, this isn't going to be an accurate representation of what this amp is capable of. The device you're listening on is going to have an effect. My recording device is going to have an effect. But I know there's guys out there that like demos, so I'm going to do it anyway. But just so you know, it's not an accurate representation. Alright, here we go, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed that demo, but obviously you're not going to hear what I'm hearing in the room. So moving along now. Which leads me to my final thoughts and who I think should consider this amplifier. So to sum it up, guys, this amplifier makes very little compromises to achieve its price point. The build quality is top notch, it performs very well, the sound quality punches above its price point in my opinion. You know when you purchase something that is more on the budget side of things and after using it for a while, you start to see where they cut costs to get it into the budget category? Well, this isn't that. Sure, there are some compromises. If you want an amplifier that is dead silent when you plug your speakers in, this probably isn't the best choice for you. But if you don't mind that and you want a very well built, great sounding and great performing amplifier that will not break the bank, this amplifier should be high on your list. Based on my experience with this amplifier for the last 2 months or so, I can easily recommend it and be confident doing so. You actually get an awful lot for your money here. Alright guys, that pretty much sums up the review of this awesome budget amplifier. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, I want to thank Amir at Summit Hi-Fi for supplying it to me for review. And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe, tick the bell icon so you can be notified about my future videos. And remember, I do have a crazy 24-inch subwoofer coming. And I know I already have a 24-inch subwoofer, but this one is going to be different. So don't think just because you've seen this one, you've seen the one that I'm getting. That's not the case. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm also upgrading all of my 7 floor channel speakers to a different line of speaker, so make sure you stay tuned for that if you're interested to see what speakers I'm going with. Again, thank you so much everyone for the support, and as always, stay techie.